What up, everybody? It's Ryan. You might know me as the guy who plays the piano on here. Hold on, get that off. Look, we're all doing our best to try to keep COVID-19 at bay, and I think it's really important to just right on. I actually just got noticed by somebody who is I'm wearing a Montreal Expo shirt, and I think the person who noticed me is wearing a Canadian shirt, Les Habitants. I'm not sure, but either way, loved Montreal, went there on my honeymoon. Anyway, it is hot, and it's so hot in the car. I'm turning this on. Didn't know I was a gardener, did you? If it sounds like I'm all muddled here, I'm wearing a mask, even though it's 90 degrees and outside. So anyway, let's get this into the car. The plan is to actually kill all the weeds, put the mulch in, and see if it looks good. It's real simple. I've never done this before, but believe it or not, mulch is only $4.98 a bag. I'm just not used to buying things that big that are only $5 a piece. And of course, got to have a bow rake to do it. So I've been working on it for a while. Let's see how it looks when we get to the house. It is hot as balls out here. Late June, Oklahoma, could be a lot worse. I was just saying, my politics is not my religion, but this booger right here is going to keep businesses from having to close again. It's going to save lives. It's for real. It's the one thing that we know that will work. We don't know much else, but we know, that the mask will work. Anyway, long story short, you know me as the guy who plays the piano, does tutorials, does cover songs, writes his own music, but really I've always wanted YouTube to be much more than that, because I am a massive fan of the platform, massive fan of content creation, and I have a lot of other interests. So I'm really inspired by a guy named David Di Franco, who's on YouTube. He's a few years younger than me, for sure, but he has long form vlogs that he does each week, and to be honest, they're entertaining, compelling, informative. They are charming. His family is charming. I enjoy watching him. I actually just get on the treadmill and I watch him a whole bunch while I'm walking, which I've tried to make a priority over the past few weeks. But I've thought recently that I would like to do more vlogging, imperfect vlogging. I'm not going to wear a mic necessarily. I'm not necessarily going to edit a whole bunch, and I want it to be longer form. And I'm starting with this weekend. Now, of course, he calls his the weekend of vlogity vlog or something like that, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm still going to do tutorials and cover songs and whatnot every once in a while. But this is for my own creative edification. So I hope you stick with me. I'm representing Montreal Expos, Jacksonville Jaguars, both places that I visited recently. And I might take you along my journeys as well. All that to say, welcome to the vlog. Let's do it. This is episode numero uno. For those of you who don't know me, let me just start at the beginning. I was born in Tulsa almost 50 years ago. No, I'm not going to be that boring. I live in Oklahoma City proper, working in TV news. And I actually pay attention while I'm driving. One of my goals with doing this is to get good at video editing and to also document kind of what I do. What I find is that the photos that I take on my phone are how I remember various times, yeah, go ahead, dude. how I remember what I did yesterday. I take pictures of the food, not because I'm that guy who takes pictures of food, although I am. I do it so that I remember restaurants and remember memories, you know. It's just sort of like the movie Memento. Documenting a lot of what you do and putting it on video is also a good way to get good at talking off the cuff. Improvisation, killing time. A lot of my colleagues in TV news have to be really good at that, because a lot of what you're covering is sort of the same thing over and over, and you have to do what's called resetting. So anyway, I live in Oklahoma City, and I always drop lids off of everything I drink. I'm clumsy. I can be awkward still. I was awkward in my teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. Let's just make it on into 50s. I don't turn 50 yet, though, until August. I'm definitely a sports nut. I'm a news nut. I'm a politics nut, but I'm not political. In fact, I don't like arguments. I don't like arguing with left-wingers or right-wingers. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily down the middle. I just try to be respectful and observer and somebody who enjoys the process. I like watching political coverage, and I like listening to it. I listen to a lot of Sirius XM channel 124 POTUS, and I like shows like The Press Pool, Julie Mason. Enjoy that quite a bit, but I don't enjoy listening to others just, you know, the talking points, and I don't say them. I don't espouse those thoughts. I'm a little bit of everywhere, but I love the process. Election night coverage, you can't beat it. That doesn't mean I'm not passionate about humans and human rights. I really quite am, but I believe everybody has their sphere of influence, the place where they can help. And not everybody is the same. That's why I always love listening to extroverts as much as my people, introverts. In that everybody has a place where they can be influential. Extroverts with other people, introverts with their thoughts, and sometimes it's intermixed like that. I don't proclaim to have the answers for anything, including why this traffic is going so slowly in Oklahoma City on a Friday night. So the plan for tonight is real simple. I should tell you, I spent the day with my stepdaughter. We went to Threshold. It's a place where you can do rock climbing and whatnot. And she did that. I didn't. I have a herniated disc, L5S1, and it's been bugging me for months. It's a lot better now, thankfully, and we'll talk about that as part of the vlog also. But we went to Threshold. It was just a day for her. Went to McDonald's. We were going to go to an Orange Leaf location, but it had already closed due to COVID, and I mean closed as in forever. And we went garage sailing this morning. That's something else I do. I go to garage sales and look for things to flip on eBay, and it's really not for the income, it's for the fun of it. My goal when doing eBay is to get money for travel and for vacations and whatnot. It's not really a side hustle. It's for spending money. Anyway, so we had a good day there, and then I wrote a blog this afternoon, ryanwelton.com, and tonight I'm going to mow the yard and finish some work that I did a few weeks ago, which was to hoe our flower beds and get the weeds out, and today we're going to mulch. We're going to put that in. I don't know what I'm doing. I've watched some YouTube videos, and I believe that through YouTube you can learn how to do anything. Even at 49, you can teach an old dog new tricks. So anyway, we're going to do that, and my stepdaughter has a friend coming over. They're going to go swimming. I might go swimming. I don't know. And then I'm going to take a long shower, listen to a podcast. I've been listening to Land of the Giants. I'm starting it. It's about the Netflix effect and about how culture eats strategy for breakfast. I'm kind of a marketing nerd, and my wonderful wife is also a marketing nerd, and I greatly appreciate that about her. And I'll talk about that at some point also. But anyway, that's kind of what the evening's got in store. I'll show you the garden, or I say garden, show you the landscaping and see what you think of that a little bit later on. This is day one. You know, it's going to be real uncomfortable and iffy as to how good this is the first few weeks, but I hope you stick with me. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to manifest it. All right. Yeah, this is the house. It's where I live here in Northwest Oklahoma City, and this is the work that I've done so far. That rose bush, by the way, is dying. I'm not a botanist. I'm not really a gardener even, but I know how to weed, and I got to get some more out. I did this a couple of weeks ago. This is what I'm going to remulch around here, and there's a lot of mulch already there. I'm just going to step over here. I need to mow the yard tonight too. I'm going to do that. Need to trim this up a little bit, get the mulch in there so you can see it, see the before, so that you can see the after. This is a mess right here. I'm going to take a hoe to that, and then use a little rake to get it all going around, and then get on my hands and knees and pull this stuff out. I wanted to show you some stuff we got at the garage sales this morning. I bought this Bible. It hadn't been marked in. Bibles do really, really well on eBay. Got the unabridged Mark Twain Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, I paid $20 for that. But the truth is, even if it doesn't sell, I won't mind keeping that because it's really, really nice. Not marked in. It was from an estate sale, and the dude hadn't marked his name in it, which I really appreciate. There's another everyday Bible down there, but I liked it because it has little tabs on the side. I don't know if you can put it down here. See it? I like that. I got a Dallas Cowboys are great. Turn that around here. Cowboys are great. I think that'll do pretty well. And then I just got to get that stuff listed. That's half the trick. You buy the stuff. The fun is in the sourcing. But then you actually have to do the work to get it listed. And right now, before we go out mulching, it is time for sunscreen. This is how you know I'm serious about the whole yard work thing. I break out the sleeveless shirt, break out the gardening hat, and I am lathered in this stuff right here, this sunscreen. Very, very important. Don't want to burn. Burns suck. Anyway, I'm not going to give you a house tour or anything like that. Not in episode 1. We're going to really focus, this first night at least, on the yard and the mulching. Real simple process. Tools for the evening. I got this Japanese soil knife on eBay, and it's a brand called Hori Hori, I think. Very weird brand name. It's called a black iron. Anyway, you just dig in there and really get the roots out. The trick to weeding is to not only chop it off at the top with the hoe, which I got right there, one side there. You just really, and then for the bottom part of it, to get the root out, you use that. All right. In the meantime, I am charging our Ego. Is it Ego or is it E60? I'm not really sure. We have an electric mower. Really dig it, but I got to charge that battery up every time that we do it. And this, you know, I'm a Cleveland Browns guy because of Baker Mayfield, Arizona Cardinals guy because of Kyler Murray, but my wife and I kind of envision Jacksonville as our future retirement home. I'll show you my little work area here in the garage for all the eBay stuff I do. There are my bins a little bit later. For now, let's take our Hori Hori and our hoe, so uncomfortable to say that, and go out there and kill some weeds. We're at about 20 minutes in. I have raked all the old mulch. I've weeded the best I can in here, and I'm going to lay down new mulch on this first part. Mind you, I got a whole other section to go, and I got to mow the yard. That's going to be the easy part, and I will tell you, for a guy who's got a herniated disc, the getting down and getting up is the hardest part. So any of you amateur or professional gardeners out there who see this, I'm willing to take as much advice as you've got, especially if it pertains to this rose bush, which I just have no idea. Is it dead? Do we need to dig it up? You tell me. So I put in about an hour worth of work, got the rest of the weeds out on this first part, which I'd already worked on. It took me 2 or 3 hours to get all the weeds out. And now I've laid mulch. It is preen brown chestnut, or preen chestnut brown rather, and here's how it looks. There is the old, here is the new. I need to do a little bit better job right underneath there. But I laid down a whole bunch of the chestnut brown. Again, I gotta mow the yard. I've said that a billion times. And here's where it really starts to look nice. Got that in there. And it is supposed to help kill the weeds without me having to add anything else. It was super easy to do. I'm sure I'm not good at it yet, but whatever. It was a good chance to get dirty. By the way, just getting in the dirt, really good for the soul. It's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna give you some progress. This is the part I've done, looking pretty good. And then I have pulled as many weeds as I possibly could from this area in the time that I have left here for tonight. And I gotta tell you, I believe strongly in the adage, done is better than perfection. Right along here, I have a lot of super problematic weeds that I think may have belonged to another bush, another tree, and this one is just chock full of little weeds in between each leaf down there. And then I probably ought to rake a little bit of the old mulch out of there, but mostly I just tried to get it fairly clean. And then I'm gonna lay down the chestnut brown preen mulch that I bought at Lowe's. Then I'll show you what it looks like here in just a minute. Wow, look at that lighting. I've got the big ring light. I said that weird. Got the big ring light here in the office. Done with the mulching. Ate a big dinner from Jason's Deli. It was a nutty mixed up salad. Got some greens in there today. I hadn't eaten really well earlier in the day. I had a pastry this morning, going out and garage sailing. And then right after, my stepdaughter and I went to Threshold, the rock climbing place. I didn't rock climb, she did. We went to McDonald's. So I needed some veggies. And now I'm all showered up after mulching the front yard. I didn't get to mow, just ran out of time and ran out of energy. It's one of the things that happens when you are 49, about to turn 50. You just gotta manage your energy. But now that I've got a shower in me, I'm all relaxed, ready to end the evening with a little bit of blogging and listening to music and just relaxing, heading into the weekend. Just so y'all see, here's the setup. I'll go ahead and turn that off. Boom. The wall, there's Baker putting the OU flag on the 50-yard line at Ohio State. The great Casey Kasem, the great Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner's my favorite quarterback of all time, my favorite pro quarterback. Cleveland Browns Sooners, how about that? Painting I did and gave to Mom. Awards, whole bunch of Associated Press awards, OAB awards. That's for TV news stuff. Texas Rangers, loyal to the end, even if I root for other baseball teams too sometimes. Anyway, that's the whole, this is where the magic happens. So like I said, I'm going to spend the rest of the evening blogging and listening to music. I like to write a blog every once in a while about new music that I Shazam. And I haven't done that in a long time because really with the pandemic and everything going on in terms of social justice activity, I just didn't feel like it was a good time to, be super lighthearted. Although that's my personality. So I don't know that I can ever be too terribly serious. And what I like to do is take a lot of those songs that I find on using Shazam and then write about them so that other people can discover really good music. So that's what I'm going to do for a little bit of while. This is a full half day, if you will, of vlogging, and I'm, we'll see how this goes. I'm dog tired at the end of tonight, which is the way I love to end every day, is that if you know that you've spent the day and spent it well, and you're tired, you done right. Good morning. Welcome to Saturday. It's about 10:30. Got a late start today, but like to sleep in on Saturday for sure. Tired from a busy day of mulching, yard work, and having fun on a day off Friday. Got a lot of things to do today, what I call Ryaning. First thing we're going to do is get coffee for myself and my wife. And then we're going to ship off a couple packages for eBay. Made a sale overnight. Didn't hear the cha-ching. Love to hear the cha-ching. Sold an Izod shirt that was really nice, kind of vintage. And I'll kind of take you through that process a little bit, or take you back out to the garage. This is a day full of Ryaning, what I call just stuff that I've got going on, projects that keep me busy. It's a lot of fun, and it actually kind of hurts to hold my hand out like this. I've got a little carpal tunnel going on. As part of all the chiropractic work that I've had on the L5S1, one of the things I've noticed is that the hand goes numb. So, I hold it out there for a whole long time, and then it just starts to tingle and get numb, and I really shouldn't have my arm extended at all. So, but first, let's get some coffee before we do anything. One of the things I want to do is introduce you to my stepdaughter, and she's really excited to be on this vlog. And so as a Saturday morning treat, I'll introduce you to O. O, come on out. Hey, who are you? Hey.
Hey is for horses.
What's your name? Oh my goodness. All right, good day. So, what is your bio? Where are you from?
Here, a hospital.
And what do you like to do for fun?
Have fun.
That's excellent. Do you have any pursuits, or academic or scholastic pursuits?
To go to school.
And what do you hope to be someday when you grow up?
A person with a job.
Oh, excellent. So you're looking to make that money.
Sure.
All right. Anything else you'd like to tell the fine people?
If you want to see my face, get Ryan up to 1 million subs.
Ooh, that's 1 million subs. I'll even
Then you
take
shall see my
10.
face.
Right. Okay. 1 million subs, and then she reveals. There you have it. All right. And now, the morning after, we're going to go out and see what the mulch looks like. Not bad, not bad. We didn't get any rain overnight. Uh-oh. I don't know what that is. Yeah, welcome to the garage that needs some pretty desperate organization, which I'm going to work on this weekend. What I'm looking for is a 2XL Izod. This is my binning system right now, where I list everything out. I realize after the fact that what I should have done always was to actually just label each bin as A, B, C, D, E, F, and then just put stuff in the bin and then adjust the title of whatever I've got on eBay as Izod Advantage Polo Blue 2XL Polo Shirt A, B, and that way I know what bin it's in. The hardest part about any inventory system that you got going on is actually finding it when it sells. You have to know where to get it, because you don't want to spend all your time looking for the item to get packaged and delivered. So in this case, we're looking for a white Izod Advantage Polo White 2XL shirt, and looky there, I got lucky. I got real lucky. So let's find it. Now, all of these shirts, whenever I buy them, I wash them. There's unless it's brand new, I wash every one of the shirts that come through. And what I do is I just make sure it stays stored in a nice, cool, dry place. And then I dry them to get the wrinkles out. But these are washed. This one smells really good, actually. It's a great shirt. All right, let's get her dried. Let's get her packaged. Let's go. Put her in. Let's get that off to normal. Breakfast in me right now. We're just going for the carbs and the sweet. I'm just grabbing a biscuit. I'm hungry. But look, got cherries and yogurt. I thought it was whipped cream.
I didn't like either.
Hopefully it's like vanilla yogurt.
Streetwear is not for everyone.
What kind of yogurt do we
This
have in the
one
fridge?
Is it vanilla?
for you.
It's vanilla.
It's
the honey
I'm
vanilla.
just sad.
Hey, it's honey vanilla.
I don't want to see you go.
Hey, we're watching
Based on what we saw from you today.
Making the Cut is what it's called. Make it work.
Not making the
No.
cut.
It's not make it work?
I don't know if they said that yet.
I was
Okay.
not able to
I
go
sort of
to
recognize that guy
all
with
the
the
runway today.
cat,
I agree
the
with you.
skull
I
cat.
can be beaten or raise it by myself. I would like to show you.
I'm a
all
fashionable guy.
and there is so much inside.
I got the 2 eBay packages packed up there, as you can see. Got some clothes for my wife to take to the cleaners. I'm coffeeed up, gonna run some errands, and then I gotta come back, and I'll tell you what I'm gonna be doing when I come back. But let's get this out to the car, all right? All right, got everything in the car, coffeeed up. We're gonna go to the post office first, where I'm delivering a Sonics ball cap that a colleague gave to me to sell. We're splitting it 70-30. He gets the 70, I get the 30. And I also sold an Izod 2XL shirt, and I believe it was my shirt. It's a great shirt. It just didn't fit me, and I've never been that big a fan of the color white for shirts unless it's a crisp dress shirt. For example, when I wear t-shirts, I don't wear white t-shirts. I mean, it would have to be really awesome for me to be wearing a white t-shirt. You know, a printed shirt. So anyway, this is day 2 of the whole vlogging experiment. I told you I was I've got a list of to-dos for today, and I want to talk about the to-do that I've got coming up when I go home. Post office, dry cleaner, and then home. One of my roles in what I do in TV news, and I oversee digital content for a couple of stations here in Oklahoma. And one of the things that I do is gather and maintain a table of data relative to COVID-19 so that we can spot and communicate trends to our viewers. And so when I get back, I will take the numbers for today and add them to a list and send them to our graphics team so that they can create graphics for on air. We had 299, I believe, new cases, or was it 295? Either way, a little bit down. I will tell you that Sunday is usually the smallest number, just fewer people getting checked out on Saturday. I think the numbers for Saturday, which are from Friday, are a little bit lower than you get on most days also. But the number that we're really keeping an eye on isn't new cases, which are mostly affecting people between 18 and 50. It's hospitalizations, and hospitalizations were way up again today here in Oklahoma. We're not at a point where hospitals are going to be overwhelmed at this point, but we're we're on the wrong path for that. That's why it's so important. You know, everybody's got a different reason for wanting to wear a mask. For some people, it is political. I'm not on board with those people. I'm not on board with shaming other people. I'm going to approach this from a much more practical standpoint. I don't want all this stuff to shut down again, right? This is a place where I think we can become unified. We're tired of this. Tired of it. Wear a mask. Let's power through this. Reduce transmission, keep people safe, and buy enough time for the big brains to come up with the vaccine. I just think that if, you know, I think it was the equivalent of buying war bonds back in World War II. And I think about people being defiant about wearing a mask. I was thinking about Adam and Eve, you know, she bit the apple and all of a sudden they realized they were naked. And I wonder if there were some folks out there who were like, you're not going to tell me what to wear. But eventually shame took over and everybody felt naked without clothing. I wear a cap all the time. I would wear a cap all the time. I don't wear it to work, but I would wear one every day if I could. Because I like them. They make me feel comfortable. And I've noticed over the past several weeks that I've actually become more comfortable wearing a mask. I don't like it in heat. It gets a little hot. And I find that my breathing is accelerated a little bit in there. But all in all, I don't mind it all that much. But gathering the COVID numbers and sending them off is something that I do every day. And one of the cool things about being in media is that you have access to authorities who can expand upon the numbers that you're seeing. For example, if I got a question, I reach out to the Oklahoma State Department of Health, and they help me out with that, and they give me good explanations and help me understand better. I think it's fascinating because the numbers that we have today in terms of new cases could be reflected in terms of hospitalizations and even deaths 2 weeks from now. One of the things that we saw today were 7 new deaths in Oklahoma due to COVID-19 or COVID-19 complications. And what that reflects largely is what happened a week or 2 weeks ago with the rise in cases. It takes a while to get really, really sick, to get hospitalized, and then you end up intubated, and then, you know, it's an end game at that point. I think about the people who we've lost to this. I mean, many people have lost somebody, but the music world lost Joe Diffie and John Prine. And gosh, what is it? Adam Schlesinger, I believe is his name, from Fountains of Wayne. That one really cut me because I love Fountains of Wayne. Loved Ivy, even the band that he has, that he had, and of course he was the brains, the musical brains behind the Oneaters from That Thing You Do, which was a great movie. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing when I get back, and then I've got another list. I'm a big believer in checklists. You got thing 1 to do, thing 2 to do, and I like to have it in an order so that I'm not thinking about it. You know why Mark Zuckerberg only wears a black t-shirt every day? And so he doesn't have to think about what he's got to wear. I mean, it's a one less decision for him. And that's the thing I like to do with checklists. You know how an astronaut gets to the moon? Astronaut doesn't get to the moon. An astronaut follows a checklist. Do this, do that. I mean, he gets to the moon. They get to the moon. But really what they're doing is following a checklist. And that's what I'm doing today. So on deck after the COVID numbers is going to be, I'm going to try to get another blog post done. I mean, if I'm doing this, I might as well be blogging too, right? I like to document some of the vacations we've taken and write about music, and maybe I'll write about this. I'll do some dishes. God, the post office is packed. This is definitely mass territory. Maybe do some dishes, and then after that, get to eBay binning. Here we go. We got somebody coming out. I'll let them out. Come on, you got it. My wife and stepdaughter are headed to a fireworks show tonight. I may go with them. The stepdaughter seems to want me to go, which I guess means that I'm a fun stepdad. I thought I was pretty cool. Alright, I think this guy's... Okay, he's in. Good. We at the post office. Enjoy, folks. I'll be back here pretty soon. All right, the post office was pretty packed, but I was wearing my mask. Now I can take it off. So this is, I know, very sports confusing. St. Louis Cardinals baseball cap, Dodgers over the mouth, Kansas City Chiefs below, which is diametrically opposed to my wife's favorite pro football team, which is the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, they played together in the Super Bowl. And you know, they say that San Francisco not winning the Super Bowl actually saved America in terms of number of COVID deaths, because they would have had a massive, massive parade on the West Coast. I don't know about that, but I wanted to explain sort of why I'm all over the place with the sports and what I wear. A lot of what I sell on eBay are sports-themed caps, t-shirts, whatnot. It's a topic that I know really well. And so it's not the only thing I sell. I sell men's clothing and knickknacks and whatnot for fun again. It's to get side money for vacation. So it is a side hustle. I know I said it wasn't a side hustle. It is a side hustle. But I'm not dependent upon it, and really work and family are priority. And I do the best I can with this. By the way, headed to the cleaners now. St. Louis Cardinals ball cap. This one comes from St. Louis Busch Stadium. Actually, I think I ordered it on Amazon instead of getting it at the stadium. But I did visit the new Busch Stadium here a couple of years ago. I grew up hating the Cardinals, and I don't love them by any means. But they beat my Texas Rangers in the 2011 World Series, which is one of the dark sports moments of my life, when Nelly Cruz failed to navigate that ball to right field. But I've always liked their history, their tradition, the Cardinal way, and they're the Yankees of the NL. And I like their stadium, like their fans. It is a great baseball city, and I enjoyed being there. Plus, my niece was a Fredbird once upon a time, so I can't really root against them, can I? Kansas City Chiefs. I did get this in Kansas City. Got this at a Walmart there. The best place to find sports-related themes isn't the pro shop. I mean, you're going to get a better variety and higher quality of items at the pro shop, wherever the team plays, the stadium, whatnot. But in terms of finding something that's pretty affordable, Walmart, man. It's always the way to go. And the Kansas City Walmart's had a Chiefs Kingdom area with a whole bunch of t-shirts, caps, whatnot. I already had a cap, so I didn't need that. But I got this t-shirt. And again, my number one NFL team growing up were the Dallas Cowboys. But that was a different era. That was Tom Landry, and it was Roger Staubach, Danny White, and then Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman was a Henrietta hen. I was a Henrietta hen. We went to the same high school. Everybody in Henrietta is a Dallas Cowboys fan. But it was mostly about Troy. And as a guy who reveres Baker Mayfield, Cleveland's my team as long as Baker is their quarterback. Will it change if Baker isn't their quarterback? There's a fair chance that it will. It's maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I will tell you the funny thing about my rooting habits is that with the Toronto Raptors, and I'll tell that story another time, but I don't know that they're not my team from now on, even more so than the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was just a confluence of events, our honeymoon, them never having won really before, and then even in the playoffs, not even a series, maybe one or two, and then all of a sudden winning the whole thing, and then it just seemed like destiny, and I felt like a part of it. So with the Cleveland Browns, that type of connection isn't there. Also, like the Arizona Cardinals, love Kyler Murray. Sure, yeah, he's a Sooner. Also, good guy. And that program, even more so than Cleveland, seems to really be taking off. They took a chance on Cliff Kingsbury, and what they're doing in Arizona is on the up. And of course, I love Larry Fitzgerald. Should have won the 2003 Heisman over my Sooner, Jason White. But Larry Fitzgerald, what a great human being. And I wish he had won the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner at quarterback. Kurt Warner happens to be my favorite NFL quarterback of all time. So, long story short, there's a story behind all of these. And alongside of that, I don't hate Kansas City. So it's like Kansas City's kind of a local team here. And so I don't root against them, like Patrick Mahomes. Love Kansas City, the city. Always wanted to go to a game at Arrowhead Stadium, and I grew up a Royals fan. So, what we like as an adult, I'm not a diehard about any one team except the Oklahoma Sooners. I mean, that is fundamentally my team. And then you have maybe the Texas Rangers. Sure, I root for the Dodgers, and I root for, I don't know, I like other teams at different times. I might be on board with the Blue Jays and the Padres over the next couple of years because I visited there. But fundamentally, I'm a Rangers guy. That's who I'm going to follow day in, day out. Basketball, it's the Thunder and the Raptors. Love the Thunder. I mean, I have to admit, I'm kind of glad that they have cleaned house over the past couple of years, because I just didn't feel the cohesiveness as a team that I feel this year with Chris Paul and Gallinari and SGA, and I think they have a young group coming up that is going to lead the Thunder for the next several years in a positive way. With that said, I don't know if there's any other team in the NBA that I really root for besides Toronto and OKC. NHL, I kind of want a team. I mean, I was a Dallas Stars guy, diehard, back in the 90s, and then, I don't know, the strike happened, and it really took the wind out of the sails for everybody. And the brand of hockey, after all of that, sucked. You remember the offensive hockey? It was 7-5, 6-4. It was awful. I've gotten into soccer. I'm a DC United man on the MLS, but I like Minnesota United. I like the whole Wonderwall tradition after the fact, and I like Toronto FC. I love all things Toronto. Toronto was such a fantastic city. I mean, folks, I did not think I was going to fall in love with Canada when I visited, but holy moly, just great people, just a different vibe. Loved it. Anyway, it's enough rambling for me for the moment. I'm gonna get this stuff off to the cleaners. We'll get back to the house. I will talk at y'all a little bit later. So I'm doing my afternoon walk. I'm trying to get about 10,000 steps a day minimum, and I'm in a competition with my brother Charles to see who can get the most steps each day. This is the guy I told you about right there, David Di Franco, master of the long vlog, and he does one every weekend. That's his mom. And he does a really good job, but he doesn't really use anything fancy, which I think is quite edifying and encouraging to somebody who's just starting out. I don't know that he's using his phone this weekend. Ooh, I don't know what that was. Anyway, I'll take it off of him. I'll put a link below to his channel, and just know, getting my steps in, not going too fast. I'm going to try to get up to about 10, 12,000 steps today. And beat Charles. By the way, I'm up 21-10. We've done this for a full month now. All right, we are down to the last minute. I got an hour walk going on this weekend. I try to do an hour each Saturday, each Sunday. And this is in place of any idea that I might be running again. I've run some short distances since I herniated my disc last October. L5S1. The gel from the disc just comes a little bit to the back and touches that nerve that runs down my right leg. And for the longest time I had pain at a 7, 8, or 9. But thanks to chiropractic, exercises, Advil, curcumin, turmeric, little CBD oil. There's another kind of oil that a coworker gave to me, like a peppermint oil maybe. But thanks to all that, I've actually come a long way. Let's see how I did. All right, hold on. I'm gonna turn off David Di Franco. Again, this is the dude who's kind of inspiring what I'm doing here, although, definitely not to his level by any means. And I don't know that I'm all that interesting. I'm a lot more sweaty than they are right now. That's a 60-minute walk, 2.6 miles. So, for any of y'all who don't know, I've run 3 half marathons, really slowly. We're talking like 2 hours, 50 minutes, 2 hours, 40 minutes. But doing regular walks every day they've helped to just keep everything loose. And if you talk to a lot of back experts, they say the faster you walk, the better. So no slow walking. We get this going. And YouTube has been a big help in allowing me to avoid boredom doing this. So anyway, props to you, dude. Props to YouTube. That's 60 minutes under the belt. And by the way, that's got me upwards of about 8,000 steps for the day, which might help me beat Charles. So done with the workout. I don't have my blog done yet that I was going to do. A little sweaty. I'm getting that, that shine, that sheen. My back is real sweaty. I know, it's kind of gross. I'm getting a note from work. Ooh, all right. So we're having Facebook issues at work. It's not something that, doesn't happen often. It does. It's either with our site or with the Open Graph API, and sometimes Facebook could be real flaky. So I'll attend to that a bit. My stepdaughter wants to go to Five Below. I don't know that we're going to do that, but we might. She might talk me into it. They still want to go do fireworks. I want to stay here and clean the garage. But there's been some, indication that they would really like me to go. So I might do that. We'll see. I just, last week I had to work because of the Trump rally, and I wanted to use this night to work on my binning inventory system. It's kind of boring, but there are also sports going on. So I could use a Ryan day. Anyway, let me get some water in me and see what we're going to do next. By the way, this is the blog that I was telling you about. I put together a little playlist of songs that catch my ear on Shazam, or that I hear at the end of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, or whatever show it might be. And I put them together, and then I listen to them all, because sometimes they're not as good as you imagine in your head. And this one is my playlist, my 7th playlist, my first since the start of the year. So that's how wacky this year has been. I did really good about doing this month to month last year. But this year, I did want to start the year, and then boom, pandemic, and here we go. Half a year later, there's the second one. 2 blogs in the past 2 days, so I'm doing pretty good. This one is a blog that I did about our trip to Alabama and Jacksonville earlier, back before the pandemic was really back at the forefront. Not that it was ever gone, but places were reopening. And I talk about beach therapy and how good it was to go to Alabama and Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun. So next time I do one of these, I'll actually take you on the trip. Or next time I'm on a trip, I'll be doing one of these, I should say. But anyway, I got this done, a couple blogs. What I'm trying to do is just trying to develop the habit. It's therapeutic to do this. It's a little bit of fun. I don't know that I have an end result in mind, just sort of a documentation. It's like Dear Diary, but public. Anywho, I'm going to list a few things on eBay, and then see what we're going to do in terms of getting started on the eBay binning. So this is my exciting Saturday night. I've got a full bin of eBay clothes. I've combined 2 bins. I'm trying to get organized. Instead of listing them all out on top of the bin, I'm just going to call it bin A, and then use my listing to reflect where the actual product is. I had Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs. I'm being a bachelor tonight, while my wife and stepdaughter are at fireworks in Newcastle. And while I'm doing this and organizing my list and eating M&Ms, I'm watching Ozark. I'm on the 3rd episode of season 1, and I got to tell you, the first 2 episodes have been real gripping. I know that I'm late to this one, but man, really good so far. Really, really good. And the young woman who plays, I think she's with the Larimore family. She was on an episode of Modern Love, which is a great show on Amazon, if you haven't seen it. I'm not sure how much of this I can actually show up here, so I'm going to not. But she's fantastic too. So anyway, I'm going to try to get at least maybe 2 bins done tonight. I'll be satisfied with 1 bin. I'm knocking it out pretty quick here, though. Happy Sunday morning. This is bourbon. No, this is coffee. Day 3 of the weekend vlog. Drinking Starbucks Toasted Graham this morning. Just a quick recap of last night. I binned a couple of bins of eBay goods, meaning that I am moving from an inventory system where I list every little thing at the top of the bin, and I'm just calling each bin now A, B, C, D, E, and F, so that I know that if I actually have a listing that says Ralph Lauren Polo blue extra large shirt C, that it's in bin C. Now that could get tricky, you know, depending on what the letter is. Maybe I don't want to use the letter F because maybe it has like failing connotations, or L because that could mean large or loser. But I got a little bit done last night, and I sat back while my wife and stepdaughter were at a fireworks show and watched the first 2.5 episodes of Ozark. So let's talk about that. I got to tell you, I'm all about stories where person finds trouble, person gets out of trouble, and then maybe person gets revenge. But if you know anything about the story of Ozark, where Marty Bird, is it Bird or Byrne? Marty Bird is in a situation where his coworker was in with the cartel, and then his wife was cheating, and they're forced into an impossible situation. The first episode of the first season, incredibly gripping, incredibly. Most of you have already seen it, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Second episode, also really good. Also, as a Justified fan, man, introduces a whole bunch of hillbilly characters, which is really fantastic. But in the middle of the third episode, I had to text my brother Charles and say, dude, does he eventually get revenge? I mean, does this turn around for him? Or is this just season after season of hell for this family? And he's like, it hadn't gotten a lot better yet in terms of, you know, for him. I'm just hoping that at some point he's able to take revenge on everybody. So the plan for today, finish mulching the flower beds out there, the bush beds. There is a rose bush there, but the roses, they need desperate help. And then I'm going to mow the yard, and then got to do some other Sunday things, and then I'm going to start work, like work, TV, news, digital work, for this special that we've got coming up on Wednesday called Summer Staycations. A number of stories I got to create, and a number of videos I need to clip and get some social media teases ready. It's a lot of fun doing that and getting to see the special beforehand, because the work that the teams put into it typically results in something that is fantastic to watch. It's like getting to watch a Netflix special. Let me wake up. Blah. Oh, one of our Sunday routines, which I'll probably talk about here in a second, is watching Brian Stelter in Reliable Sources. So I'll turn this back on when we're watching that. All right, folks, digging in for breakfast. My wife made some awesome French toast, my beautiful, wonderful wife. And there's her French toast, and there's her puzzle. And here's our Sunday morning tradition. That dude, Brian Stelter. We watch Reliable Sources each weekend. It's a sort of a media junkies, you know, Disney World, if you will. I don't know how to describe that. It's just something that I enjoy watching each week, and we watch it together. So anyway, but by the way, this syrup is bourbon barrel aged. There is a little bit of bourbon in it. It's not that much, but we got this in Mentone, Alabama, where we stopped on our road trip earlier this year. I lied. We got this from the biscuit company, the Maple Biscuit Company in Jacksonville, Florida. Really nice restaurant. My wife just reminded me. Like, this is why I do this. I can't remember anything. Yeah, but we were, in fact, we didn't even buy it. Dude gave it to us. The Maple Street Biscuit Company, really nice restaurant there in Jax Beach in Jacksonville, Florida. Really good, 2% alcohol. Tastes fantastic. I'm a sucker for anything maple. All right, everybody, we're going to be headed to Lowe's. I'm going to go back to the back and get a couple more bags of mulch. I'm going to, on this side, we got the part that I've already mulched. And I got to do this side. This side's a mess, but it's a much smaller mess. Today we are being inundated with the winds and the dust from the Sahara that have been, I say plaguing the South, but actually the Sahara dust thing It's a good thing. Whoop, got somebody behind me. There they go. All right. I can't imagine living in an era that didn't have a backup camera and the backup beep beeps. Is that a first world problem or what? So let's go back to breakfast real quick. I noted that my wife and we watch Brian Stelter every week. It's more about Brian, and I don't know Brian. I've tweeted at him a couple of times. He's responded a couple of times. I'm actually kind of a fanboy of his from his TV Newser days and his New York Times days. If you remember his work with the late David Carr, whose book Night of the Gun. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful read. Brian has covered the media for a long time. I mean, nobody will accuse him of being a right winger or being even really down the middle a whole bunch. He's definitely a left winger. But what I really like is that he understands the news business, and he, I think, understands the ideal of what it is we should be doing. And in today's in today's edition of Reliable Sources, there was a discussion of helping seniors navigate the media landscape and knowing what's truthful and what's not. And I go back to my late mother, who was not only an avid Trump supporter, but a devoted Fox News watcher. I told her once that I ran into Brett Baer at a hotel in Dallas, and she was way more interested in hearing about him than she was me. Joan London was on, and Joan London, if you don't remember who Joan London was, she was the host of Good Morning America, and at one time, she was, I think, probably the most trusted, well-liked television personality on the planet back in the late 70s and early 80s, and she left the business at the top of her game. When I tell you, I think my wife mentioned Katie Couric, and I thought to myself, nah, Katie Couric might have been popular. Joan London was beloved. And she is starting a new program to help seniors navigate the media landscape. And so I just wanted to talk about a couple of the tips that I would give Mom as she would ask me about articles as to whether or not, is this true? Is that true? First thing that, and by the way, we're headed to Lowe's. I got to pick up mulch, as I told you. It is a very dusty, hazy day here in Oklahoma City. I'm hoping not to stir up my allergies too bad. I will be wearing a mask inside, and today I might be wearing a mask outside. First thing I would tell Mom, though, back in the day is look at the dateline. It's really important to look at the dateline. When a story was posted, and I'm not even talking about Facebook. I think really the end user, the news consumer, just needs to get off Facebook, get off Twitter, and stop using those platforms as the gatekeeper. To be honest, I think most media organizations have abdicated their responsibility as gatekeeper largely to social media platforms, and that's too bad, because social media platforms aren't good at it. But I think everybody needs an outlet of choice. But if you don't, at least look at the dateline. At least look at the URL. Is it something you recognize? Is it a fly-by-night site? I'll never poo-poo blogs or digital publications. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of niche news sites that do fantastic reporting. Here in Oklahoma alone, we have a lot of sites that you might not have heard of, whether it be Non-Doc or Oklahoma Watch or The Frontier, the Black Chronicle. We've got, I'm trying to think of some others, but those, Oklahoma Free Press. A lot of outlets, and by the way, that doesn't even include niche outlets, like business niche. But you have to know what site you're looking at, and if you don't know, then maybe just pass up that article. But at the very least, look at the dateline. Dateline number one, is it from today? So many times you see about a celebrity death and realize that it happened 7 years ago. And then, as you read the article, look for sourcing. Look for quotes. Are they is the only source an anonymous source. I don't care if it's the New York Times or the podunk press of hillbilly town America. If you're not able to quote somebody who's got an official title or some credibility or authority, then I'm not really sure that I'm going to give it too much credence. So, number one, look at your dateline. Make sure it's at least from now. Number two, look at sourcing. Now, that you might think that would be too much for somebody who isn't in the media to understand or to take the time to do, but it was cake for Mom. Mom was 79. She got it. In fact, many times we discuss an article and she would tell me that, well, I didn't really believe that one because their sourcing was poor. And I'm like, let me tell you something. If she could get it, she was not in the media, she was anti-media, then the senior in your life can get it also. So those are the two main things. But the other thing is that I would say read more, a higher quantity of articles on a certain topic. And if it sounds too fantastical to be true, then it probably is. Almost always. If it feels like a ridiculous story, probably is. So those are my tips. They're not surefire. I mean, even the media gets it wrong every once in a while. I mean, what, am I going to lie to you? We're human. It's not on purpose. But it is very much an honorable, paramount part of the Bill of Rights that helps keep power in check. But going back to Lowe's, power that I am absolutely listening to right now includes public health officials. I know I've mentioned this a few times, but wearing the mask, and I think I'm going to wash masks today. For whatever reason, this is a homemade mask from my mother-in-law, and it doesn't feel like it needs washing as much as some of my others. I bought some Toronto Raptors masks because I like the Raptors. I just love how they won that title last year, and I hope they can do it again. Or Oklahoma City, love that. But it feels like it needs to be washed. At some point, I spilled coffee grinds in the Toronto Raptors. I don't know how, but then all of a sudden, it smelled like coffee grinds, and I thought, there could be a market there for like good scents. Some way to maybe encourage more people to wear their mask, which is kind of funny because here in Oklahoma, truly the way to get everybody to wear a mask is to say that OU football wouldn't happen. That is 100% truth. If Lincoln Riley came out tomorrow and said that, you know what, there will be no Sooner football this year if not 100% of you are in masks, then I assure you 100% of people would be in masks this afternoon. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to try to get my hands dirty today and get this job done. And then, as I promised my wife, I'm going to try to relax most of the rest of the day. Get in pajamas early, get a shower in. I might go to the pool. I don't know. I need to work on the special that we've got coming up at work and get a few other things done. I might watch some NWSL soccer, which I did yesterday. Liked it, by the way. I think because I'm a DC United fan, I'll probably go ahead and root for the Washington Spirit, who beat. They beat Chicago 2-1 last night. Didn't get to watch it. I was watching Ozark, and it was really good, but it was really dark. I think I probably should have stuck to soccer. And then I might watch the race this afternoon. I'm really intrigued by NASCAR and how it's approached the Bubba Wallace story, and I just am encouraged by what NASCAR's leaders are doing, and Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon as broadcasters really they are promoting an inclusivity that I don't think has been part of the perception of that sport for a long time, and I'm digging it. It makes me feel a little more comfortable to be a fan. I don't know anything about cars. we're out of sports. I gotta watch something. You know, once we get NHL, NBA, MLB back, all that stuff, I probably won't be watching it. But my goodness, I mean, don't deprive me of something this afternoon. All right, I think we're here. I'm headed to the back. I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Oh yeah, today's the day we get this done. A reminder of what it's supposed to look like. And I'll show you the mess. That, my friends, is just a mess. The flowers on this side are doing a lot better though. So there's that. I'll remind you of the tools we're using. The lawnmower and weed eater later in the day. This garage, by the way, is a perennial project. We've got things to give away, garage sale to have, no doubt. And here's my little work area. If you remember, got my hory knife. The hoe is back over on this side. And gloves. Definitely need gloves. Alrighty, got her dug up. Look at that. Got it raked. Let's come around here. I got a mess to clean up, no doubt. I'm gonna do that before I put the mulch down. But anyway, just wanted to show you real quick how much progress I'd made. All right, folks, we did it. That's 3 bags of old mulch and dirt. Got it in there, got it filled. That's a weed. Oh. Not bad for a first go. Now it's time to mow the yard, get this done so I can get in and take a shower. Love being out here. It's a little hot today. And you got that Saharan dust blowing around. Alrighty, so back in Texas, this is what they would call cold beer time. And you gotta say it like that. You can't just say, I'd like to have a cold beer. No, you gotta say, emphasis on cold. I want a cold beer. You know, what are you doing? I'm drinking cold beer. I don't know why. Just got done with the yard. The mulching's done. The mowing's done. The weed eating's done. The blowing's done. The fighting over the weed eater string is done. It's all done. I'm absolutely filthy from head to toe. And this is my post-mow ritual. This is a local buzz. I got it at Buc-ee's in Denton. And they used to have, ooh, it's a beer foul. the whole top used to come off. I liked it a lot better when the whole top would come off. There was it says honey rye golden ale, and it used to be that there was a palpable honey taste. And I'm telling you, the taste changed when they did that. I just spilled beer again. So despite the Saharan dust storm that's out there, it was actually pretty good out there today in terms of temperature. It felt pretty good. It was overcast. It felt like a storm was coming through. I put a little, put the headphones in for as long as they would last. I listened to two things. I was hoping to listen to some of the NASCAR race. Again, it's sports. I enjoy it. I especially enjoy the radio broadcast. MRN, really, really good. As somebody who works in media and who used to do a little bit of radio, I mean, I was around radio. I didn't really do any radio. But it's just such a well done broadcast. They make the sport more exciting. Anyway, it was raining up in the Poconos, so I didn't listen, or I quit listening, and I moved over to listen to a guy. I believe his name is Chris Lee. He has a podcast called Daily Refinement. As somebody who not only tries to strive for excellence in whatever they're doing, but also somebody who's trying to build an eBay business, he's just a great guy to listen to. The podcast is called Daily Refinement. I'll link it below. In fact, I'll link everybody that I mentioned in here. David Di Franco, all the best to him. He was taken to the hospital last night to have an MRI. Don't know exactly what's going on there, but absolutely best wishes to him. But also I'll put a link down to the Daily Refinement podcast and his YouTube channel. So anyway, this beer, get it at Buc-ee's. It's in Denton, Texas. It's all over Texas. You can't miss it. It's the biggest thing you'll see down there. Anyway, the first time I got this, the checkout dude told me, he says, that is going to be the most surprising beer you ever drink. He says it's the best beer in here. And I was like, whatever. I just bought it because it was local and it said honey. Do I point to it? Honey. I like anything honey, anything maple. He said it's cool because the whole top comes off. I was like, whatever. And then I got it home and I was like, I really like it. Really, really, really like it. So the mowing went well. Did really well. Or it looks good. It's good for me. The mulching, I don't really know how I did on that. I mean, it looks okay, but did I just kill all the shrubs? I don't know. I'm hoping to plant something there in the future, but I read that planting in mulch is not a good idea either. So maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I don't even know what I'm doing with this vlog. Maybe I'm just rambling. That's a possibility. So let's recap a little bit. We started the weekend with the trip to Lowe's. We bought some mulch, and we mulched a good part of the flower bed. And then showered, relaxed, did a little bloggity blog. What else did we do? We did some eBay binning, watched some Ozark, watched some Brian Stelter Reliable Sources. Haven't got to do a lot of reading this weekend, which is something I enjoy doing when I kind of have, when I have the whole weekend to do things. The book I'm reading right now is the John Berry book on the 1918 influenza pandemic. I know, you look at me and you're not thinking that he's, reading a historical novel. Pretty smart dude. As I belch. Anyway, so I'm really excited to see how this little vlog experiment turns out. This isn't going to be the last clip in the weekend vlog, but I can tell we're winding down because I'm going to drink this beer and I'm going to take a shower. And now I'm going to have dinner tonight. And then I'm going to do a little before Monday work for work so I can be ahead of my game there. So I really appreciate you watching this whole thing, if you watch this whole thing. Thanks. Cheers. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Wait, I don't think we're done yet. All right, guys, we're going to call this a week. Episode 1, vlog 1. I don't know how it will do. I don't really care so much at this point. I hope you enjoyed watching it. We did some mulching together. We went to Lowe's. We talked about masks. We did a little bit of eBay binning, so we inventory, if you will. So we talked a little bit about reselling. You met my stepdaughter, even though it was only in the form of a unicorn head. It's a good weekend. Did a lot of ryaning. That's what I like to do, a lot of ryaning. And I spent the day, ended up doing like almost 12,000 steps today, thanks to mowing the yard, and closed the night out with a little bit of work. Watched a little bit of the race from this afternoon. Don't know who won, don't tell me. Not that I really care. I probably won't even watch the end. I just wanted to have some sports on. And then finalize some plans for a trip my wife and I are going to take in October. Hopefully wear a mask to New England to see fall foliage. Used a lot of miles for that trip, so it was a good deal. Hopefully we actually get to take it. In the meantime, everybody have a great week. Be good to each other. See ya.